Utah, about to give you a tour of this van right here. This is a big deal. This is the first time ever that Grand Design has built a Class B RV.
Welcome to the brand new Lineage LVT1 by Grand Design here on a 2026 Ford Transit chassis, and the MSRP is $190,000. All right, before we get started, let me introduce to you Stefan. He is the gentleman that we've been working with here at Grand Design. So what do you do for Grand Design?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm product manager for our new Class B van division. We've actually been a division for a full year, hired our own engineering team, our own production team. We've got our own 130,000 square foot facility. The last year, secretly been tinkering, prototyping, reiterating, life cycle testing, durability testing, and now we're ready for some real world testing. So thank you so much for coming out. We want you to try our Proto number 3 unit. This is Proto 2. We've been making some tweaks. Want to hear your feedback, what you like, what you don't like, how can we be better, what do we need to change, what do we need to move. So thanks for coming out and giving us a try.
Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and start this tour right here at the back of the van where we normally start. So, well, I won't cover too much on the inside, just wanted to touch on a few quick things back here. This is your disconnect, and as you can see, you have a very large garage space back here. And one thing that they've added, the storage that's accessible from the rear door. One really nice feature about this drawer is it is all metal. So if you've got wet items, things like that from, outdoor activities, you want to store them, this is a great secure place to do that where they're not going to damage anything. So with these bungee cords right here, you do have access kind of to the back side of the panel. So you could stuff things in there, life jackets, maybe like boogie boards, stuff like that. I don't really know. So here on the driver's side, you have 120 volt power. You have a dimmer switch. This is for your garage LED lighting.
You just turned it on. You did it, bud.
Oh. We've actually struggled with how to make that work, but as you can see, there's a nice little dimmer switch for your LED lighting. And you have your Victron display for all of your power options. You have a remote inverter off switch, and as I mentioned, your 12 volt power switch. But let's move on to the exterior. So this model does actually come with the tow package, and it is rated for 6,700 pounds. You also have this rear tire carrier with a ladder up to the roof, and we'll step up there in a second. But I have to say, they've done a nice job with the wheel and tire upgrade. So they've upgraded to some all aluminum wheels, as well as the BF Goodwrench KO2s. And with these BF Goodwrench KO2s, you can get anywhere you need to go. We literally just drove up this huge Jeep, like sketchy Jeep trail. Hillary was a little scared. I had full confidence we'd get up here, and of course we did. But let me take you up top.
Bob.
All right, I don't know how much of this you can actually see, but I am standing at the rear of the van on a platform that you can use to access it. There's also a Starlink mount down there.
Just be kind.
And there's a pop top. So I'll get close-ups of everything, but you can also see that there's a solar panel right here behind me. So this is a 300 watt solar panel, and it's flexible, mounted directly to the top of the pop top. Down here, everything comes pre-wired for Starlink, and this is your actual mount for it. And you've got this nice rear platform to stand on. Hillary's down there a little nervous.
I'm so scared, even though I have already climbed up on there.
And you also have some auxiliary lights here on the back as well. So at night when you're backing up, you can really light things up.
Okay, you're done.
All right, I'm done. Let's keep heading around to the front of the van, which is probably where we should have started, but we didn't. So here at the back of the van, they've done a nice job kind of hiding the shore power connection. It's kind of down here in the plastic molding, not up on the body, something that I prefer. They've also rhino lined all of the lower plastics, which, especially with all the weather conditions we've been driving it in, has been really nice. But let's talk about these flares. These are some custom flares that they make. You step around this side. Look at how deep that flare is. That thing is huge. It adds a ton of room to the bunk area. And it also has underside lighting down here.
Okay.
So we'll have to see if we can get some footage at nighttime. You can turn those on. It kind of lights up the side of the van. You know, it's one of those good security things. Right here you have your city water fill. So if you're like at a campsite, you can plug in right there and use the city water pressure. You have an outdoor shower outlet, which obviously connects to the water pump and the heater inside, so it's warm. It does have a cassette toilet. This is your door. One of the things that you'll notice that's different about this cassette is it actually has a locking mechanism, so it doesn't have the traditional kind of 2-button push. You just use a key, kind of spin that latch open, and it's nice and secure.
Now no one can steal your poop and pee.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
That way no one can have access to that special poop. So I won't talk too much about the windows. We'll wait till we get inside, but obviously there are several windows on this side.
And that is a bathroom window. Hint.
Hint, hint. They've added some custom steps for the driver's side. And here's a good look at the wheels and tires. You can see the BF Goodwrench KO2s and the upgraded wheel package that they put on. And let's swing around to the front of this beast. Look at this. So this is on the Ford Transit chassis. They've added the upgraded Raptor grille with the lights in it. So the trail package for the Transit's no longer available. So they've actually kind of gone in and basically done their own custom kind of take on the trail package. And they've replaced the spring in the front suspension and added Falcon shocks in the rear. It's a little hard to see out here, but you can get a better view from inside. So up above the windshield, there's actually a skylight that's up there, which is a very innovative feature that kind of changes the whole look of the entire van. So it does come standard with a Jared awning, and I'm putting it out right now. Or I believe it's an option for solar panels. I'm actually gonna check and see if it's actually a solar panel on this specific model. But because of the wind here today, we've been putting it out, but it has a wind sensor, and every time the wind blows, it then retracts it. So that's the only reason it's not out.
That is totally solar.
Let me go up on top.
Look at the wires. Look at those wires right there.
But is that for the LED? No, you are correct.
It's solar. He told me it was solar.
Wow, okay, yep. So how many watts of solar is this, Hillary?
It's a 720 watt awning.
That is pretty impressive that you can basically pull this thing out and capture all of that energy, and then it stores away nicely and is protected.
Okay.
So, as you can see, right there, there's a solar panel on top of the awning. You'd have 300 on the pop top and 700 on the awning. That's a lot of solar. So, this Transit has a GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating, of 9,950. So the length of this Transit is 19 feet. The height with the pop top is 10 feet 2 inches. Here on the exterior, this is basically the back of the Galley. A lot of companies are putting tables kind of that pop down. They actually have a bar here that you can add a table. So we had some little drama with our table. It actually got left at the factory, so we didn't get to put that out here for you. But it is nice and sturdy because it does have a leg that goes down to the ground. And I think the big key is that table works kind of at the dinette inside the van, as well as kind of exterior for your, I don't know, your tailgating table, if you want to call it that. You also have USB power and 120 volt power, and then this is your gravity water fill connection as well. But before we go inside, I need to talk about this flare that they have added to the passenger side. So you actually have a flare on the door, as well as essentially what is the bunk area in the back. There is a window here at the back that you can actually have open and open the door and you don't have to worry about hitting it because you can rip them off.
And it's kind of cool that they put a window in the flare.
And as you can see, I shook the van just enough to get the awning to roll back in. So
It's so touchy.
it is very sensitive, which is something you actually want. If there is a lot of wind, you want your, solar panel awning to roll back in and protect itself. All right, let's move this tour inside. But before we do, let's start right here with this refrigerator. So this is a drawer refrigerator. And what's nice is you can access this from both outside the van as well as inside the van. It's easy to load top down. It has a freezer compartment in here. And it's just a really good use of space being here on the end of the galley. You also have six control buttons right here. So you can have 2 for your awning, your water pump, your fan, and for your lighting. And this is really nice because there is a control system in here, but I am a huge fan of having some analog switches, for some of those key things that you need. And they've really done a good job with that. I just shut the door. We're having some lighting issues. It's so bright outside, but these are double paned acrylic windows. They're the tip out style, and they obviously latch. They close down. You've got like a partial close that you can do, or full open. You also have blackout shades as well as bug screens. So hopefully that'll still give us some airflow so we don't get too hot. Okay, I'm gonna actually work this way around because there's just so much to see at every corner. So right above the door when you walk in, this is the Firefly control system that's here in the van. It is a great option for basically controlling everything in the van. So you can see your tank levels, you can turn on your tank heating pads, your water pump, all those types of things. So everything can be controlled from this panel inside the van, in addition to those few switches that they put here on the end of the galley. So there's also an app, and we'll put it on the screen right here so that you can connect your Firefly system and control that with your phone. And I believe it is a global connect. So if you have Starlink and it's on and running inside your van, you can actually be remote somewhere in the world, log into your van, control it, turn on your air conditioner, make sure it's secure, whatever you need to do.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So I just clicked over here to the battery option. So this does have a Lithionics 48 volt system on board, and it uses the Victron components. So, it's going to use your inverter. You saw the display there in the back. Let's see. So, and when we were basically, we've been driving so much that it has dual alternator charging. So we've been basically keeping the batteries completely topped off. But what's really interesting to see is, last night we basically, stopped, parked the van. We ran the heater. We ran the fan inside the van. We also turned on the tank heating pads because it was 22 degrees at night. And we only used 6% of the battery all night long. With all of that heating kind of going on in usage inside the van. And of course the refrigerator, everything was just kind of like normal usage. But that's a very small amount of power to use, in those types of conditions. So let me go back to power. Okay. So let me click over to the water tanks. You can see those. So you can actually read your gray tank and your freshwater tank. You can control your tank heating pads, your water pump, everything right through this display. So the capacity on the freshwater tank is 34 gallons and the gray tank is 23 gallons. So the water heater is electric and it is also 2.5 gallons. We took showers this morning, or actually this afternoon, and worked great. Plenty of hot water, was able to keep up with us taking what I would consider a Navy shower. And so everything worked out fine with those. It also does have for your heating system, you can click over here to climate. It does have an S-bar air-to-air heating system in it. And it is actually underneath the passenger seat. And it is actually using the gasoline from the tank. So you essentially have, for all intents and purposes, an unlimited heating capacity, and then you're not drawing from your battery as well. So let's move on to some of the other things that I find really innovative in this van and I'm excited about. So the first one is this double paned acrylic window. So they're referring to this as the Vista Window, and it does have shades so you can, black out at night. But this, I think, does a really good job of, making the exterior of the van look good, because, you've all vans have that slope, I'll call it, above the windshield, and nobody's really doing anything with it. And so this is a great way to take advantage of that space. It lets a lot of light in. It helps this space to feel really big. Now, one thing you don't get when you add this is you take away that shelf capacity that's up here. So you do lose some storage. However, it does make getting into the seats much easier. Being 6'1", I tend to hit my head all the time on those shelves where I can literally step into the cab and just sit down. I don't actually, you know, have to worry about any of the shelf or anything up there. I really, really like this feature. I also think it kind of changes the aerodynamics of the exterior and the look of it, which I think ends up looking pretty cool. This is quite innovative. They have added this security feature inside the headrest for both the driver and passenger seats. So if you need to store something in here like cash, passports, you know, a boomstick, whatever you want to put in here, you certainly can, and it's secure. No one's going to know that that's there.
Yeah, they will now.
They will now, but I just think the normal person isn't going to, you know, look at that and say, oh, there's something in there. Now, one thing I did notice is it is quite hard. I mean, they've added some padding to it, but it's a metal box that's sitting there right behind your head. So it's not very comfortable to rest your head against, but I really like having that option to secure stuff in, you know, a nice accessible place, but it's also secure. So behind the driver's seat, you have your dinette area. Now, normally there's a table here, and as I mentioned, it kind of latches onto the rail. It is detachable. It can go kind of exterior to the exterior mount as well, but we're missing ours. So, but that's okay. You can obviously get a feel for where the table would sit. It's a nice comfy seat. As you can see, they've reupholstered this, or not reupholstered, but they've upholstered this seat with some nice materials, so it's quite comfortable. You do have 2 seat belts here as well. So this allows for basically 4 people to travel safely. And you have these windows again, nice large windows, the double paned acrylic windows with the blackout shades. You've got some lighting here and some storage up above. So one thing I do like is kind of these kind of, I don't know, nooks and crannies, taking advantage of every space where you can, you know, put things like your keys or, you know, your hat or something like that. This is a great convenient place that I regularly use to kind of just drop things in, and then it keeps them secure. So these cabinets up above, you basically push to release. And as you can see, we've kind of jammed them full of all of our stuff. And then to close, you basically do the same thing. Just push to latch. So I definitely have had to retrain myself. You know, a lot of times my instinct is to just like basically grab this underpiece and just pull. So I have had to definitely focus on, okay, push, release, okay. Push to secure, push to release.
Yeah, because there's no, or we're used to having like a handle.
Right, like either a push button or a lip underneath with a button, something. This is just a little bit different style than I'm used to, which is taking a little retraining on my part. There's also a drawer underneath this bin, or underneath this bench, not a bin. But there's also this under here, which is, again, taking advantage of all of the storage capacity that you have. And you can see there's nice
seat lighting?
Under seat lighting? Yeah, I guess that's what that would be. Nice under seat lighting.
Don't fall, Bob. Don't fall, Bob. We're in the pop top. Am I too close
Oh, you're
to the camera? Okay, so this is the first time either of us have been up here. We don't necessarily ever need a pop top nor want one, but I will say in our first van that we ever had, we had a pop top. And for 2 people like us that don't travel with kids, we use this for storage, and that did come in handy. But if you have kids, what a great spot. This pop top is not too bad. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, and I for sure could sleep up here by myself. And I think, yeah. Oh, what is that zipper?
Oh, there's netting all the way around.
Oh, stop.
Here,
okay.
why don't you show them? Because
Okay.
I can't. So there is a nice little net.
Which is amazing, if you ask me.
I won't latch it in on this side, but you can actually put this on here so that if you have kids, they can't roll down in the middle of the night. I don't understand.
See, this is the cool part of us doing reviews. You guys can literally learn from us.
Okay, hang on. I think I'm doing it backwards.
Here, should I just put it up here?
Nah, I mean, here. This is what we're gonna do. I don't know where the zippers are for
It's
that.
right there.
Where?
You're not gonna be able to undo them. I think they're. Oh wait, maybe. Oh. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. Would you look at that?
All the way around. I can't reach any farther than that.
Wow. Look at this view.
Wow. Definitely some good airflow. And you can obviously roll this up, tuck it in, make it look all nice and pretty.
Yep. And it obviously unzips more over here, but we don't need to.
Hey, I just realized something.
What'd you realize?
It goes up there. I was wondering, like, okay, I'm gonna fall, I know it. Okay.
No way.
All right,
That's how it goes.
that's it. So if you want to push those zippers to me. All right, we'll see you later.
You Bob! So that's how it's supposed to go.
Yep. Nice and tight, just like that.
And then you just unclip it at night to go down and use the bathroom if you need to.
Yep. Just like that. So I don't know if I have it clipped. I think
We could be doing it wrong. Please see
owner's manual.
See the owner's manual to do this the right way.
Because
We are not liable for anything.
or intelligent enough to know if it's right.
Yep.
Okay, let's try it this way because this makes more sense.
And there is a skylight up here. I don't think we said that, did we?
Nope, we did not cover. There's all sorts of goodies up here. So we've got lights. We've got a dimmer for this LED strip. We've got USB-A charging over here. You've got this skylight. It also blacks out. Also allows for good airflow. And I think
We're good. I want to get
I
down.
think that's it.
Okay.
Let's start here in the galley on the passenger side. We'll work our way around. Believe it or not, this is your stove. It's an induction cooktop. It's built into the countertop. You put your induction approved pan on that circle. Use this little dial over here to set your temperature on the Vista Cook. And you can see your settings. Apparently it heats up your pan and you can cook, and it doesn't make the countertop hot.
Not hot yet?
It's warming up. This is crazy. You can see.
Yep. Well,
Wow. This is crazy. Literally just cooking on the countertop.
and then if you were to lift that pan up and touch it, it's not hot? Or is it?
Well, let's see before it gets too... It's not hot. That is crazy. Feel that.
What?
That's not hot.
Oh my word.
And then I just put the pan back on and it continues heating. Crazy. So in next week's video, you'll actually see us use this, which I'm very intrigued to see how this works. So moving on to the storage in the galley, you can see nice dovetailed drawers, soft close, secure latches. You've got some lighting underneath. So here you have a microwave convection oven, which we clearly haven't even used yet.
What's in there?
It's styrofoam and all the pans and everything that you'd need.
Wow.
Funny thing is, we were gonna buy some food and we were like, oh, we don't have a pan to cook in the induction or in the
Convection oven.
we don't have any pans to cook in the convection oven. Apparently we did. Too late now, but
Right now, we're going to use the stove instead.
you've also got some big storage for like pots and pans, which is what we've got here. Of course, they're brand new. Got some storage down here, and then you have a drawer for your garbage.
And you can put stuff right there, like spices. And I don't know if you put spices.
No.
Oh, your garbage bags.
probably your garbage bag, stuff like that. You have your sink, so it's a nice deep sink.
We've obviously been using it.
We've been using it, and you have this not shower head, you have a faucet, so you get like a stream of water here, or like a nice fountain for like rinsing stuff off, rinsing fruits and vegetables. And you've got a spice rack built in, so you can push it down. Good option. Uses some odd space, to be honest, kind of back behind the sink where it would normally just go to waste. So they've taken advantage of that, put some storage back there. You also have 120 volt power back over here so that you could, you know, power your coffee machine, all those types of things. You've got overhead storage.
Oh, wow. You ever want to know
We've been
what
eating
healthy,
junk food for the last few days.
We're very healthy eaters. Not when we're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, not at all. Now, I will say these cabinets are pretty shallow, so it makes storage pretty limited up here. But the reason that is so that when you're actually standing over the cabinet working, the cabinet's not right in your face. So it's one of those kind of give and take things. Like, these are small cabinets, but you also gain kind of that workability so that it's not right in front of you when you're down here.
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
All right, moving on to the bedroom. As I mentioned earlier, you have those two huge flares. So you have a window down here by your feet, another small one back over here, kind of behind the sliding door. You've got some reading lights up here. Because of those flares, you have an 80-inch bed, like long ways. So Hillary and I both fit very comfortably on this bed. We have plenty of room to lay kind of east and west in the bed. It's definitely adequate width. I believe I can't remember the exact width of it. I don't know the exact spec of the width, but we'll put that on the screen. But there's adequate space for us to be able to lay in here comfortably. You do have shades here in the back as well. So it makes blackout really easy. You just basically pull those up and away you go. We'll just leave those up and keep some of the heat out because it's starting to get warm out.
Is there screens too or no?
No, those do not open. So there's no
okay.
screens or anything like that. It's just pure blackout.
Okay.
You've got storage up above.
Oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see
Nothing
here.
to see here.
It's a little bigger
Yep.
than the other side.
Now, two other unique things that are back here. They have installed a split AC unit. So you have basically just the air handler up here, and then underneath the van, they actually have the condenser and the fans and everything like that. And we got a good look at that when we were at the factory, where when it was up on a lift, we were able to kind of see the entire unit. And I have to say, this definitely uses much less space. It has a ton of capacity. I know it's a 48 volt air conditioner. We're going to put this to a torture test here in the day or so, now that we're here in the desert and we can actually run the AC unit. So we'll see how that performs. So instead of a TV, it comes with a projector. So what's interesting about that is it's magnetic. B, you don't have a bulky TV kind of sitting in there, but you have this huge screen that you can put down. But it is a pretty cool option so that, you know, you have a big TV, something that you can lay in bed and watch, and then you just put it away when you're done with it. Oh, okay.
Cool.
And then let's see, over the driver's side, again, more storage.
Much smaller storage, I noticed.
Definitely smaller. Would like to have, I get why, because with the TV you need as much room as possible, or not the TV, with the screen you need more room, but it would have been nicer to have those a tad bit bigger. Again, you've got 12 volt and 120 volt power back here, but let's see, other than that, it's a pretty standard kind of, you know, bed with a garage underneath. You do actually have some storage, so all of your electrical system is on the driver's side of the van. You do have one storage compartment that's kind of right here under the, I don't know, front passenger side bed space. So there is some additional capacity over there. Let's move on to the shower. So I'm actually standing in the shower, and above me, you can see this is a rain shower head. So you actually have a 6'4" clearance inside the van. So I'm 6'1", and I was able to take a shower. Great water flow. It was nice and warm. And you might be wondering to yourself, how in the world can you take a shower in the middle of your van, basically right in front of your galley? Well, these accordion doors block you in. Oh, hang on. Okay. And basically form an enclosed shower. When you close this space off, it basically becomes an entire wet bath. And down below, you can see this is the shower pan. So there's an option for this kind of wood grate that you can stand on. We've took showers today, so we had to let it dry, but that's where all the water runs off to. There's also an option to put another piece over the top,
which we have.
And we'll go grab that here in just a second, but that basically matches the existing floor. But that allows you to stand in here, have a rain shower. You have your 2.5 gallons of hot water. Everything worked great. But you also have your toilet in here. So in here, you have your 5-gallon cassette toilet, kind of a standard RV cassette toilet that seems to be very common. But what's really nice is you have a lot of room, you know, in here. And yeah, you also have some privacy, so you can close this off.
Yeah.
And you do have a window behind you. So if you need a little extra ventilation, you're able to keep things ventilated. You've got some storage kind of behind the cabinet here.
It's kind of hard to see with the door.
Here.
Let's get in the shower.
So
okay, we're in.
You have some storage kind of down here. This is the controls for the shower as well.
Comes with a mirror.
Yep.
Medicine cabinet. Oh, it's a double mirror.
Double mirror.
What?
Medicine cabinet.
Didn't know that.
All the things that you need.
Isn't that interesting? That's the little track.
Yeah. Yep. I like the lighting along the ceiling. That's kind of stylish.
Let's see. Can we get it?
Now, one thing that we did notice, and it's kind of weird that we're standing in the shower.
Wait, I want to show them with it closed. So we're in the shower, 2 of us.
Yeah. One of the things that we did notice after taking showers, this does drip for a few minutes. So you have to kind of leave that out, let this wood, I don't know, what would you call that? Grating?
Isn't that like a teak wood or like a, I don't know.
It is something. I don't know what it's called, but you have to let this dry. So after you take your shower, you have to let this dry. While that's drying, this is also dripping. And so it's just one of those things.
I put a towel there. I just put a towel there.
Yeah.
I think we were talking to Stefan and he said that this is a prototype. Yep. And they're still trying to figure out, I don't know, how to not have that issue. You definitely have to turn off the water pump right away.
Yes. Yep. One of the things I recommend anytime, you know, like after you're done using your water, turn your water pump off, use the sink, bleed off the pressure. That kind of helps just to make sure that, like, if you bump the knob inside or, you know, something like that, that it doesn't continue to drip and leak on you.
Bob brings up a really good point. And the only reason why we know this is because twice I've been using the restroom and I bumped the shower and it turned on me. So, note to self, turn off the water pump before using the bathroom, but then turn it back on to flush.
Just anytime you're not using the water, you should have it off.
I agree.
That would be a great option to have a water pump control switch inside the shower.
Oh.
I just thought of that for that very reason. Yep. Okay. All right, let me shut this because I will forget otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. You might have already seen both seats swivel, but this one is swiveled around just to show you guys, but this one is not. So I have to say, I have been thoroughly impressed with the Ford Transit EcoBoost engine. We have been traveling across the country, like driving up the mountains, you know, accelerating onto the freeway. This thing has plenty of power. Driving up here into this sketchy place that we made it to, we've had no problems from an engine, you know, capacity perspective. And actually, I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. The infotainment system, all of the controls, yeah, I enjoy the Ford product. Let's see, Grand Design recovered all of the seats with some durable materials. It breathes well, you know, with the 1,300 plus miles that we've already driven. I never had like the, you know, hot back, which is something I get in my van when it's hot outside. Never had any issues. So thought that was a good choice of materials for that. I'm trying to think what else up here. Yeah, the big things are no shelf, so it's easy to get in. I enjoy the engine. I didn't like the mirrors, and I like the seats. One of the things that we forgot to show you guys is the cover. So this actually, here, hold on, let's see if I can. Goes on top of the wood grating, latches down in place, and now it matches the floor. All right, I am going to show you guys quick how to convert this bed. So let me start by moving our pillows. And I wonder, can I do it with the sheets on? I've never tried that.
And the blanket too? You could try it first.
Let's try it. Fold that over. I feel like that would work. We'll give it a try. Can you do it made? Can you leave your bed made and put it back? Oh, but of course you can.
What?
Look at that.
And then, yeah, that could push in, right?
Yeah. So you can basically fold up your bed, and now you have this big space back here. You can store things, snowboard, skis, whatever you need, fire pits, all that back here. There's also a laundry hamper right here. If you needed like maybe a little workspace, maybe you could put a little chair in here. I don't know, maybe do a little work right here. Some options.
And that's where the table storage could be.
Yes, your table storage literally is right here. There's these two tabs here and those two tabs to lock it in. This is your secure latch for the bed itself. And then when you're ready to convert it back to a bed, simply remove that. Lower this piece down. Unfold. Fold your blankets back up. Voila, and your bed is made. So guys, I'm curious, what was your favorite feature of this brand new van that Grand Design is about to launch to the world? And speaking of launching it to the world, we have been driving this van all the way from Elkhart, Indiana, and we are taking it to La Mesa in Phoenix, Arizona. If you guys want to see this van in person, you can, starting tomorrow. I'm going to put all the details of when and where you can see it in the description box. And one more thing, we are going to be at the La Mesa Tucson location on April 26th from 10 to noon, and we would love to meet you guys, and you can take a look at this cool rig.
Well, guys, this is the end of the tour. I hope we didn't miss anything. It's kind of long, so I apologize for that, but we wanted to hit everything. Like that new bathroom, like we hadn't seen something like that before.
Right, or the, like, I guess the Vista window in the front of the cab.
Yeah, hadn't seen something like that. Just different things in this van that are different. And yeah. It's a Ford. Bob had actually, myself included, had never driven a Ford.
Yeah, and it was actually quite an experience.
Yeah. And
taking it on such a long journey, we definitely got a feel for it.
We really did. I feel like we know this van inside and out. And stay tuned for next week because you're gonna get to see that whole entire journey of picking it up at the warehouse, starting there, and driving all the way through. Where did we drove through Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado. Last night we stayed at a Walmart parking lot in Evergreen, Colorado. Gorgeous place. Got to 22 degrees. We were a little worried about that, but it did fine. And a huge shout out to Grand Design. Thanks for bringing us along and allowing us to be the first ones to drive one of your Class B RVs. We really enjoyed partnering with you to bring this tour to everybody. But that's it.
All right, until next time.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.